He said that Gujarat Titans will fail miserably, but they won the first game. But today we are going to talk about the uh, second day of IPL, which is the first double header, Super Saturday. We had Punjab Super Kings versus KKR, and we had Lucknow Super Giants versus Delhi Capitals. Both the games were decent enough. We were expecting a close Saturday, but I think better teams won. So to talk about it, we have Sanjay with the old jersey of LSG and Rahul, and RCB Hall of Famers दिग्गज आकाश और विशाख together. Welcome guys. कैसे हो आप लोग? कैसा लग रहा है आईपीएल 2023 चालू होने के बाद?
बहुत अच्छा, feels really good. ये 2 महीने हैं जो हम लोग वेट करते रहते हैं पूरे साल, and it's got off to a decent start, I believe. So good matches in the first 3 games.
And again, one more thing is this time we can go and support our teams in the stadium. So that is an added bonus as well.
बिल्कुल.
बहुत अच्छा. इस बार प्रॉपर एक साल बाद शुरू हुआ है तो थोड़ा लग भी रहा है कि कुछ गैप हुआ था, वरना लास्ट 3 जो एडिशन और हाफ एडिशन था 6 महीने में था, तो it was getting a bit much maybe.
बिल्कुल. और सेकंड गेम से चालू कर दें और एक स्पेशल लेआउट रखा है, बड़ा किया है एलएसजी विनर को आज. So Sanjay, why don't we start with you? Super Giants made a fantastic start, beat Delhi Capitals by 50 runs, and Super Giants are looking really good. Their batting is very scary, very, very scary.
Carl Mays obviously was on the bench. Again, an all-rounder, effectively. Didn't get an opportunity last season, where typically he opens, and with Holder and Quinton de Kock in, he didn't get an opportunity. Obviously, de Kock is not joined the squad as yet, so he got his opportunity. Again, very slow start by Rahul, and even Kyle Mays at the start was quite quite slow. But I think he played the knock of the tournament so far, because it looked like a difficult wicket. I know Rituraj and Gill have had decent outings, but for someone who's playing his first game in the IPL, first home game, a lot of pressure. Absolutely clinical performance for him, as well as for Mark Wood, again making his debut for LSG. 5-wicket haul. He looked unplayed. That delivery to Mitchell Marsh, back-to-back wickets with Shaw and Mitchell, that pretty much killed the game. But yeah, I mean, the runs on the board always helps. So defending on a ground which had a lot of dew, I think they did really well. So very happy with the performance, and they look very, very strong team going into the tournament.
Absolutely. And Akash and Vishak, if you look at batting first, they put up 193, which was fantastic score. Of course, thanks to Kyle Mayers. But if you then walk down the batting order, Deepak Huda, Krunal Pandya, Marcus Stoinis, Nicholas Puran, who's looking to starting to aid in, Ayush Badoni, and then LSG also were pretty smart in making an impact player change. So your thoughts on LSG start?
I think their batting is absolutely fully packed with hitters out there. One flaw which I thought they could have done better is sending Nicholas Puran ahead of Krunal Pandya or Stoinis. Puran is not your finisher. He needs some time, and then probably he's going to give you the bigger knocks like 70s and 80s. Had he perhaps come ahead of Stoinis or Krunal Pandya, the score might have been much more bigger. Stoinis and Krunal Pandya can play a finisher role. That's their ideal role which has been there. I think Puran ahead of them could have been a different game. But again, the batting looks absolutely scary, as you said. They have hitters all around the park. It was a blessing in disguise that Rahul got out so early, because the way he played those 12 balls, it didn't look like he was there to bat a longer innings that day. So I think, yeah, LSG are doing well. Short playoff contenders, if I believe.
Absolutely. And
Just
Vishak,
on that
DC,
Kunal Pandya point, I also felt that maybe Puran should have come in early, but Kunal Pandya pretty much dealt with singles. I think he batted like 9-10 overs, played only 14-15 balls, and gave the strike to the other. And then the other guys kept hitting. I think they had like 14 sixes or something, which is unreal for for a side getting 190 and hardly many boundaries at all. So all the 3 debutants, the overseas debutants, made the did the job for LSG. Whereas last year, pretty much all the games were won between Mohsin Khan, Chamira, Avesh, and the openers Rahul and Quinton de Kock. None of them, apart from Avesh Khan, who got wickets in the end, but it was pretty much all the overseas debutants who did the job. So very promising signs.
In Vishak, from a Delhi Capitals point of view, they had a forgetful day, right? All their bowlers were above 8.5 in an over, except for Khalil. Batting order did not click. David Warner had to play that kind of a forceful innings. Riley Russell tried, but he got out. But Delhi Capitals, they look little out of sorts with the team in hand.
The only thing that went right for them was the first power play. I think they controlled things pretty well in the first power play, which is like they did not allow LSG to get off to a good start. I think LSG were around 6 overs 30 or something in the first power play. So that's the only thing. And that drop by Khalil Ahmed of Kyle Mayers, that changed the game. That was a terrible drop. And that kind of, and Kyle Mayers started changing gears after that. And I think that completely changed the game and put them on the back foot. And later, the bowlers, I think Warner missed a trick. There was one end where there was a dry patch, and he was continuously bowling Kuldeep Yadav from the other end. Kuldeep Yadav, if he had bowled from that end, would have got more purchase. We saw Akshar Patel getting purchase and how he got Kyle Mayers out. Bowling that slow delivery, the ball turned. Still, he was not willing to give Kuldeep Yadav ball from that end. I think he missed a trick with the captaincy over there, and the rest of the bowlers completely looked out of sorts, as you said. And in the batting, Warner started well, and then it was terrible batting. I don't think it was a situational kind of thing. It was terrible batting. He was struggling. It was kind of a misery seeing him bat like that.
Yeah, it was KL Rahul SQ kind of an innings, unfortunately. But that is the second match. Delhi Capitals have a lot to think about. Lucknow Super Giants are off to a winning start. So let's switch gears to the first game of the day, which was Kolkata Knight Riders, who we predicted that probably are going to be on the bottom four. So will Punjab Kings. But surprise, surprise, Punjab Kings again, similar to Lucknow Super Giants, Akash, looking really strong, especially the batting.
They have done this in the past. I mean, this is not a surprise. They seem to start off like this, going hammer and tongs in the first few games, and then they fizzle out all of a sudden. But there were a couple of positives, I believe, because out of the 193, it was not like one person stood there and scored everything. Everybody chipped in with their own bit. The Prabhusimran Singh, utilizing the power play the way he did, coming out of the front foot for somebody like a Tim Southey and spanking an over mid wicket. That shows the kind of confidence these youngsters have. Jitesh Sharma again stepping out and hitting Sunil Narayan for a 6 over long on. These are all signs which are good for Punjab. They don't have to be dependent on somebody like a Shah Rukh Khan or even Livingstone for that matter. But my only question here is for Rajapaksa. Why doesn't he perform like this for Sri Lanka? He always seems to, flounder out there when he goes for Sri Lanka. Whereas when he comes to Punjab and he suddenly starts, spanking those 30s, 40s, 50s all around the park. So I think, yeah, it was a good start by Punjab, but I don't believe this is going to be the best season again. So they might again end up in a bottom four.
And just to add on like what you're saying, Akash, on Rajapaksa, I think Punjab Kings are using him better than what Sri Lanka are. I think Punjab Kings are batting him right at the top at number 3 and he's getting maximum time. Whereas Sri Lanka is trying to bat him at number 6 or 7 and as a finisher. So he's not getting enough time and he has to come and start hitting from ball 1 and he's getting out early. So Sri Lanka have to utilize him better. So I think it's not only his fault here. Sri Lanka also have not been utilizing him better.
Yeah, it was a 32 ball 50, and Vishak, you're spot on. Number 3, probably our opening is the right place. Last year, we have seen Odean Smith and Rajapaksha were coming as the finishers because that was too late in the game and they had no choice but to go after. But now he gets enough amount. And in T20 game, like always, they say, put your best batters with the maximum deliveries. And Rajapaksha is one of the top 3 for Punjab Kings. And what about Dhawan? Dhawan continues to be an IPL great. Again, 137 strike rate. People have written him off. And Akash, what do you think? Will he play a big factor for Punjab Kings because he's on the top? And second, he's also a captain. Captain's performance always we have seen. IPL impact is pretty big.
There's never a doubt about his IPL performances. He's always been consistent, and his strike rate also seems better in IPL than what he actually performs for the Indian team when he turns up for the Indian team. So this is not a surprise that he's basically what he does is he stays around as much as possible for the 10, 11, 12 hours and then starts picking up. Today it was unfortunate that he got out the way he did, but ideally that would have been the time that he would have started picking up the bowlers and going on for the big shots. So yeah, this is not a surprise, but he might end up being the top scorer for Punjab this year. But the captaincy again, we'll have to wait and watch because this is the first game, so the 14 games to go. So captaincy might be a different ball game for him.
And Sanjay, Sunil Narayan had a rare bad day, 10 per over. And then Varun Chakravarti had a rare good day, 24 runs off 4 overs. So, what do you think of KKR bowling? Do they have bowling setup? Batting, we will come to it, but bowling seems to be in pretty decent shape, or it's coming to a shape.
And they only used five bowlers as well. That's the other thing. I don't know whether Russell injured, etc. But surely, with Nitish Rana being the captain, I think you'll have to give him time to see how he manages the team resources, etc. In the past, we've seen even Nitish Rana do some decent bowling, getting very, very high quality players out. You need more bowling options. Yes, the batting is the problem, but the game was much closer than obviously it looks like, because I thought with Nitish, with Sunil Narayan and Shardul Thakur, they did have an outside chance. In the end, what 7 runs was the difference before the rain came. So yeah, I think both of the squads are not really. I didn't fancy uh, any of the teams here. Shikhar Dhawan will always give you probably 500, 600 runs in a year. But whether they've got the team and the management, etc., to take them all the way is a big question mark. Kolkata, I don't know what their tactics were. They did use Venkatesh Iyer as an impact player, but if they had to use him as an impact player, he should be opening. That's where he's got most of the runs, right? What's the point of getting him at number 4? So yeah, Mandeep Singh is never really delivered at the IPL. So yeah, I think they've got a lot of open holes in their squad and how they manage their team. So I think it'll be a difficult season for KKR, especially with Shreyas Iyer not being there. Punjab, I think they'll get an additional boost when Rabada will be there, but Nathan Ellis did a good job. And if Livingston comes back into the squad at some point, then I think that will probably help them as well. But Punjab, I don't fancy much, but yeah, they may surprise everyone and maybe qualify for the playoffs.
And Vishak, what do you think of that comment? I was about to get to that. Mayur Bhatija says that Narayan not opening missed the trick by KKR.
I think he is not if you see over the last 2 or 3 years, he's not been the same batter as what he was. Maybe he's clicking here and there in the T10 in the formats here and there. But if you see the IPLs, the last 2, 3 IPLs, he's not been batting that well. But what I felt is KKR missed a trick by not playing Jagdeesan. He has been in tremendous form in the domestic circuit, scored a heap of runs in the Vijay Hazare and all that, along with Sai Sudarshan. Those two were the premier batters for Tamil Nadu, and they did not pick him. So I think they missed a trick there. Instead of playing Mandeep Singh, if they had played Jagdeesan, maybe that could have been a better combination.
Okay. And from Kolkata perspective, they have a lot to think about. And Akash, you make a good point that PBKS start off well. Will we be able to sustain? But they still have few more batters to come, like Liam Livingstone and stuff. Definitely, at least from a start wise, LSG and Punjab Kings seem like are going to be the dark horses based on their performances and thought process. Especially the Lucknow Super Giants are looking at making that impact player usage pretty well. So Akash, what do you think? LSG definitely seemed like top four, but Punjab Kings, your early predictions. I know you did not join the the
Yeah.
prediction session, but what do you think of Punjab Kings' chances?
I don't think they'll make it to playoffs, honestly speaking, because even though if Livingston joins them, it's not going to make a much of a difference. Yeah, they're dependent on individual performances, but how consistent can they be? That's the question.
Hmm.
Probably they might end up somewhere around 6 or 7, but definitely not in the playoffs. LST is not a dark horse for me. They're definitely going to make it to the playoffs. They are bound to make it to the playoffs. That's the kind of team they have. That's the kind of management group they have. And Gambhir, knowing Gambhir, these kind of moves, which the impact player, the way they used it, these are all the brainchild of Gautam Gambhir. This is not something which KL Rahul would have thought out of his mind or something like that. So I believe this is completely this is going to be completely a game changing move which Gambhir did today.
I must give some credit to KL Rahul. The team finished number 3. after the end of the playoffs, and they missed the number two spot just because of one bad game against KKR where they bundled out and they lost. Because of the run rate. Had they scored like 15, 20 more runs, they would have been fine. So whether it's the coaching setup or whoever needs to get the credit, it's going to be crucial to see how that experience pans out. Obviously, we saw yesterday Hardik Pandya telling that he doesn't know what the team setup is. It's all Ashubhai who takes care of it. So, but yeah, three games, three home teams winning. So I think the teams which do well on the road might be the ones who probably edge out in the end to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I
and I
actually would
think
have
we
expected
are.
CSK to win yesterday. I was expecting CSK to win yesterday. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because considering that they have plenty of home games at the back end of the tournament, I believe they also should be going through to the playoffs,
And the RCB, it's the opposite. You got all the you front load all the home
We'll come
which
to
is
games.
it.
good.
Hold on with RCB. We'll come to it. We need a dedicated time for it. But before we forget, I know we are saying Gautam Gambhir is the mastermind, but we are also forgetting somebody like Andy Flower in Super Giant setup.
Yeah.
He is a thinker. He just is off Pakistan Super League and then now right into IPL. He's been busy, but his mastermind approach, we have seen what he did with England Ashes setup. So I think Andy Flower has a bigger role to play as well from a Lucknow Super Giants think tank.
100%. And
Absolutely.
he's the one who's got a year round. He's full time coach basically, rather than Gambhir, who's a part time coach and full time politician effectively. So
But
yes,
they're actually an all-round team, isn't it? I mean, they have the team, they have the management going, they have the coaches, everything is in place. It's just that they need to deliver on the field match after match, and then they should see them holding the cup.
in fact, this is one team which doesn't benefit from the impact player rule. I think the impact player rule will probably benefit teams which do not have much all rounders. So one is I don't like the impact player rule at all, to be honest. It's some of the weaker sides would probably get away with it, but I think LSG might be the first team who use the impact player for a foreign national because they might well play Decock and Myers if they bat first, let's say for example, and keep Markwood out and only play three overseas and then get Markwood when they're bowling second, if that happens.
Will be interesting. All right, let's switch to tomorrow. Tomorrow is another double header. The other four teams will open their account. First one is Sunrisers Hyderabad versus Rajasthan Royals, the runners up from last year. And then we have RCB versus Mumbai Indians. So why don't we start with Mumbai Indians versus RCB? Akash and Vishak, best probable chance to get off to a winning start because why are you guys laughing? Let's start because Mumbai is weak and RCB definitely need a start. I think that's what's been the problem.
Our record against Mumbai at Chinnaswamy has never been great. They seem to always come here and tonk our bowlers and go away. And considering that there's one beast in that Mumbai Indians team, he alone should be good enough to take over
Kishan,
the RCB bowlers, I believe. And that is Surya Kumar Yadav.
Sky.
I think
But he's been raking up world records for ducks.
that's a
That
different
is
format.
ODIs, but this is format. This is the format he owns, and he's the number one batter here.
There you
That's
go.
all.
RCB chatted and people are flocking in. We see the viewership going up.
Ajit Agarkar is playing like that Bombay Duck title should go away from him. Maybe Surya Kumar Yadav will take it up.
We will be happy. We will definitely be happy to let Sky extend his duck, record going on here. We'll definitely be happy. But yeah, on a serious note, it's good that RCB is having a lot of home games at the beginning because leave other teams apart. RCB, I think, has got not such a great record at Chinnaswamy Stadium. So it will be good for them that the home games go away at the first, and then they take over the rest of the games later in the tournament. But at least 3 to 4 games at your home should be enough for them to go through.
And the other point is we're missing some of our important players in the first half. That is like Rajat Patidar, Hazelwood, Asranga. All these players will be missed. So just going through the home games at the start, which is our weak point, and then if we win at least like around 2 or 3 out of the 6 which are going to play, I think we'll be in a good position.
Yeah,
I
and
think
Vishal,
it's
our
Akash will say it
CEO,
is too much of an expectation, 2 or 3, but
and Vishal,
Make
our
it just 4
CEO
batters
is
too.
coming as a disguised Facebook user and says, "I'm going into the stadium tomorrow." So, what do you suggest our CEO should do tomorrow watching the game? He called me. He was very nervous. I told him that, "Is it your examination or cricket game? What is tomorrow?" He seems very nervous for tomorrow's game.
Well, it is. He's born to be nervous. I mean, especially if he's going to the stadium. Oh yeah, definitely. Vishak will love some beer tomorrow. If you can arrange for one ticket for both of us, then definitely why not?
Awesome.
But yeah, I
San-
think
Mhm.
win or loss apart, you should see these videos which are being recorded in Instagram, wherein people are standing in the queue from yesterday 12 o'clock midnight to get one ticket out there at the counter. So that's the kind of craze which we RCB fans have for the team. So
I
win or loss, we are just going to be backing them to the hilt.
Vishak, I'll give you a better option. What you should do is uh, use that money or whatever you'd potentially be paying for the Chinnaswamy game and fly to Lucknow and watch Lucknow versus RCB at the Lucknow Stadium. That'll be cheaper probably. And you'd have better seats as well. Lucknow ground is much, much better than Chinnaswamy. Can't compare the atmosphere, but yeah, the ground's better.
So RCB winning tomorrow, Vishak and Akash versus Mumbai.
We will be backing them, yeah. RCB definitely.
We'll be backing them, but not sure about the result. Like win or lose, we'll be backing our team to the fullest.
Sanjay, who will win, RCB or Mumbai?
I hope it's a much, much tighter game. I'd like to see RCB, winning and getting off to a good start because if they win at least 3 or 4 games in the first half, I think they'll definitely do well. I think their best years or best chance to win a title probably was in the last 3 years when they did not have home games. But they've got the side, and I think the home crowd can only bolster them. So we'll see.
Okay, so the first game tomorrow is Sunrisers versus Rajasthan Royals. Again, Sunrisers are good on paper. I'm expecting them to win tomorrow, but equally, Rajasthan Royals have a decent team. Ravi Ashwin, whenever he plays, the opposite team has no chance. But Akash, what do you think?
Oh, definitely. I mean, these are two teams which have always thought after the auctions that these two will be the ones who are going to go to the playoffs again, Sunrisers and Rajasthan. Rajasthan actually seem to have got their puzzle solved with Holder coming into their side. So that's an all-round team now. The impact player will definitely be useful for them much more now. And considering SRH, the way they went about the auction, uh, watch out for Harry Brook. He seems to have gone there to do some baseball training as well to hit them long. So I think SRH also is in good shape. If you compare what Delhi did today, they had all their Indian bowlers out there. But SRH with their Indian bowling, I think that is what the right strategy is for SRH and not for DC. DC once not K and others come back, I think they will shift their strategy. But for SRH, this is the right way to go. Have all Indian bowlers and have the overseas in the all rounders and batting section. So I think it's going to be a very good game, the first one at least, SRH versus RR.
You're on mute, Suman. I sort of agree that SRH. I do fancy that team, especially with the impact player and the form which a lot of these guys are in. SAD20, Aiden Markram winning that cup. It's like an India South Africa friendship team basically. I mentioned that in the preview as well. I think both of the teams have a very good chance of progressing. So it'll be a fascinating contest. Again, the home side, home crowd. I'd probably fancy SRH a bit more than RR. But it'll be great to see what the tactics are used by the teams.
Okay, well, there we are. The first doubleheader Saturday is done. Tomorrow will be Sunday. Our goal will be to try and cover as many matches as possible, especially on the weekends and holidays. We will definitely be there. But thanks for the engagement. And if you have not checked out other episodes on our channel, please do. And if you're new to our channel, click on subscribe. If you're returning, thanks for watching and see you tomorrow. Sanjay, Akash, and Vishal.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.